Namaskar and welcome to Parliament News. Let's begin with news from the Lok Sabha. The Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on Thursday told Lok Sabha that a tri-services inquiry team led by Air Marshal Manvendra Singh has started investigation into the helicopter crash that killed the Chief of Defence Staff, General Bipin Rawat, and 12 others. Briefing the House on the crash, Singh said that all efforts were being made to save the IAF Group Captain Varun Singh, the lone survivor of the crash near Kunnur in Tamil Nadu on Wednesday, who is on life support at a military hospital in Wellington and has now been shifted to Bengaluru. A tri-services inquiry headed by Air Marshal Manvendra Singh has been ordered by the Indian Air Force, and a team of investigators has reached the Wellington yesterday, the site there, and they've started their work, is what Rajnath Singh said. General Rawat, India's first Chief of Defence Staff, his wife Madhulika, and 11 other armed forces personnel died when the military helicopter they were travelling in crashed. The last rites of the Chief of Defence Staff will be performed with full military honours, Singh said. He said that the last rites of the other military personnel who died in the crash will also be conducted with appropriate military honours. The Lok Sabha paid tributes to the departed souls. Giving details about the incident, Rajnath Singh said General Rawat was on a scheduled visit to the Defence Services Staff College in Wellington to interact with students. The Indian Air Force's Mi-17V5 helicopter took off from Sulur Air Base at 11:48 a.m. on Wednesday, which had to land at Wellington at 12:15 p.m., he said. The air traffic control at Sulur Air Base lost contact with the helicopter at approximately 12:08 p.m., the minister said. Singh said later a few locals reported fire in the forest near Kunnur and rushed to the spot where they saw the remains of a helicopter engulfed in flames. Rescue teams from local administration also reached the crash site and tried to recover survivors, he said. All those recovered from the wreckage were immediately rushed to the military hospital at Wellington. As per information received, out of 14 persons on board the helicopter, 13 succumbed to their injuries. The dead include the spouse of the CDS, Madhulika Rawat, his defence advisor, Brigadier Lakhbinder Singh Lidder, the staff officer, Lieutenant Colonel Harjinder Singh, and 9 other armed forces personnel, including the Air Force helicopter crew, the minister said. Their names are Wing Commander Prithvi Singh Chauhan, Squadron Leader Kuldeep Singh, Junior Warrant Officer Rana Pratap Das, Junior Warrant Officer Arakhal Pradeep, Havaldar Satpal Rai, Naik Gursevak Singh, Naik Jitendra Kumar, Lance Naik Vivek Kumar, and Lance Naik Sai Teja. Group Captain Varun Singh is on life support at the military hospital in Wellington, and all efforts are made to save his life, Singh said. The Indian Air Force's Air Chief V.R. Chaudhry has been sent to the spot after receiving information about the accident on Wednesday itself, the Defence Minister said. He said the Air Chief has taken stock of the situation after visiting the spot and the hospital. The Defence Minister made a similar statement on the crash in the Rajya Sabha. Speaker Om Birla expressed grief at General Rawat's untimely demise, and he said that the country has lost a skilled warrior, an outstanding strategist, and an experienced leader. The members also stood in silence for a brief while as a mark of respect for the departed souls. Paying tributes, the Speaker Om Birla said that Rawat had worked a lot towards bringing in reforms in the system and would be remembered for his dedication. In 0 hour, Congress leader Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary accused the Home Minister Amit Shah of misleading the Lok Sabha when he said that security forces had opened fire on civilians in Nagaland after they had tried to flee. Now, he also said that a Congress delegation on a visit to Nagaland was stopped at Jorhat by the district officials. Inside the House, the Home Minister had given a misleading statement when he said those people who were shot dead had tried to flee after being signaled to stop. Chaudhary said, citing reported comments of some of the injured, that they were directly shot at by the security forces. Those people who have been admitted to hospital have said they have been shot directly, he said. Chaudhary said that the Congress President Sonia Gandhi had constituted a delegation comprising Lok Sabha members Gaurav Gogoi and Anto Anthony to visit Mon village in Nagaland and share the grief of the locals whose family members were killed in the firing by security forces. The Congress leaders were stopped from visiting Mon district. He alleged the government had earlier stopped Congress leaders from visiting Lakhimpuri Kheri. and also stop them now from visiting Nagaland. The situation is deteriorating in the entire northeast, Chowdhury said. The Union Minister of State for Parliamentary Affairs, Arjun Ram Meghwal, said the issue raised by Chowdhury pertained to the state government and not the Lok Sabha. On Monday, the Home Minister had expressed regret over the death of 14 civilians in Nagaland's Mon district in 3 consecutive episodes of firing by security forces, the first of which was a case of mistaken identity. Speaker Om Birla on Thursday drew praise from Lok Sabha members for identifying potential of members and encouraging them to speak on the floor of the House after a first-time woman MP known for spearheading self-help groups raised the issue of women's unemployment. BJD MP Pramila Bisoyi, who is 73, speaks only her mother tongue, Odia, raised the issue of women employment following the COVID-19 outbreak. She said many women who lost employment were unable to get their jobs back and were confined to working at their homes or farms, while men have been re-employed. She spoke in Odia, and her party colleague Bharatruhari Mehtab shared the crux of the matter she had raised during the 0 hour. Asked about her education qualification, Mehtab said that it is not much, but noted that she is spearheading many self-help groups. The Lok Sabha website says that Ask an MP has studied till primary classes. Now, this is India's democracy, Birla said, noting that he personally urged her to speak in the House. She told him that she only speaks Odia, he said, adding that her secretariat then helped her. Now, she makes request for speaking in the House regularly. That's what he said. This is India's democracy. The Speaker noted that she has given employment to a large number of women. The Union Minister Arjun Ram Meghwal rose to praise the chair for identifying her potential. Many other members also thumped their desks to laud it. Birla on Thursday also allowed all women members who wanted to speak during the 0 hour to raise their issues. Earlier, the DMK member Kani Modi raised the issue of reservation for women in Parliament, noting that the issue has been discussed for long but in vain so far. Birla has also taken measures to ensure that the maximum MPs raise their issues in every session. His office said 402 members have so far spoken during the 6 spells of 0 hour during the ongoing winter session. The Lok Sabha has a strength of 543 members. The Congress MP Shashi Tharoor demanded during the 0 hour that a misleading personal attack on him by a member of the Lok Sabha during a debate earlier this week should be condemned. He requested the Speaker, Om Birla, during 0 hour to ensure that such kind of issues are not repeated by any member against other members, claiming that a breach of Parliament procedure and etiquette by the member of the House during the course of his remark on the High Court and Supreme Court judges' salaries and Conditions of Service Amendment Bill 2021 was violated. Tharoor said, "It's clear from the transcript that the member stated he should not be participating in debate as a case is pending against him." The Congress MP said he regretted this kind of remark and added that the claim itself is false and there is no case pending against him. The accusation being referred to has been dismissed by the Court of Law. To say what he said, the member asserted, is misleading to the House and the chair, Tharoor said. However, he said that even if a case is pending against any member of the House, that does not preclude the MP from participating in any deliberation. Tharoor demanded that the Speaker should condemn this act, and to this Birla requested the members to follow the parliamentary procedure and rules. Later, responding to Tharoor's remark, the BJP's Nishikant Dubey said that members should be sticking to the issue and not deviate from the topic of discussion. Referring to his intervention made during the discussion on that day, Dubey said that he had raised the point of order, asking Tharoor through the chair to refrain from speaking on cases pending before the Court of Law. "If you point one finger at us, 4 fingers would be pointed back at you," he said. The government should intervene and bring down high prices of petrol, diesel and domestic cooking gas so that crores of people, poor people, are benefited. This is what the NCP MP Supriya Sule demanded in the Lok Sabha. Raising the issue of price rise of essential commodities during the 0 hour in the House, she also said that cooking oil has become very expensive, pinching the common man. The government should think of the bottom of the pyramid of society and bring down taxes on petrol, diesel and LPG cylinders so that people at large get some relief from inflation, Sule said. The Congress MP Karti Chidambaram raised the issue of safety of animals and demanded that the government should constitute a task force to ensure that elephant deaths do not take place at railway tracks, pointing that 186 elephants have been killed by train accidents. He said that new technology like radio frequency identification should be put in place to protect these animals from getting killed. Let's look at news now from the Rajya Sabha. Well, the Rajya Sabha on Thursday mourned the demise of General Bipin Rawat, his wife and 11 others in a helicopter crash and observed silence in memory of the departed. The Deputy Chairman, Harivansh, described India's first Chief of Defence Staff as an exceptional and distinguished military leader. Soon after the House met, the Deputy Chairman informed the House about the tragic accident in Nilgiri district of Tamil Nadu on Wednesday afternoon, in which the CDS, Rawat, 63 years of age, his wife Madhulika and 11 other defence personnel lost their lives. Reading out Rawat's obituary, Harivansh said, the CDS had an illustrious military career spanning over 4 decades, during which he held key positions and went on to become the country's Chief of Army Staff on December 31, 2016. In the last 2 years, General Rawat tried to bring transformative reforms in security architecture of the country, Harivansh said. As an individual, he will always be remembered for his commitment to the nation as well as troops, he said. In the passing away of General Rawat, the country has lost an outstanding soldier and an exceptional and distinguished military leader, he said. The House deeply mourns the passing of General Rawat, his wife and 11 others. The loss of precious lives is indeed painful and unfortunate, he said, after which members stood in silence as a mark of respect to the memory of the departed souls. The Defence Minister Rajnath Singh then made a statement about the unfortunate incident. He earlier made a similar statement to the Lok Sabha. Singh said that Group Captain Varun Singh, who survived the crash, is on life support in Wellington Hospital. The Defence Minister told the House that a Tri-Services inquiry team led by Air Marshal Manavendra Singh has started investigation into the helicopter crash that killed the Chief of Defence Staff, General Bipin Rawat, and 12 others. The Leader of the Opposition, Mallikarjun Kharge, wanted that floor leaders of all parties be allowed to pay tributes, but Harivansh said the House has collectively mourned the deaths and there was no precedent to allow such a thing. Trinamool Congress members who also wanted to pay tributes staged a walkout in protest after they were disallowed by the chair. The last rites of the Chief of Defence Staff will be performed with full military honours, Singh said. He said the last rites of the other military personnel who died in the crash will also be conducted with appropriate military honours. The dead include the spouse of the Chief of Defence Staff, Madhulika Rawat, his defence advisor, Brigadier Lakhbinder Singh Lidder, the Staff Officer, Lieutenant Colonel Harjinder Singh, and 9 other armed forces personnel, including the Air Force helicopter crew, the minister said. Their names are Wing Commander Prithvi Singh Chauhan, Squadron Leader Kuldeep Singh, Junior Warrant Officer Rana Pratap Das, Junior Warrant Officer Arakhal Pradeep, Havildar Satpal Rai, Naik Gursevak Singh, Naik Jitendra Kumar, Lance Naik Vivek Kumar, Lance Naik B. Sai Teja. He said. The Upper House also passed a bill that seeks to accord the status of Institute of National Importance to 6 more institutes of pharmaceutical education and research, and also set up an advisory council for them. The National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research Amendment Bill 2021 was cleared by the Rajya Sabha on Thursday with a voice vote. The bill was cleared by the Lok Sabha on December 6. Replying to the discussion on the bill, the Union Health Minister Mansukh Mandavia said the bill has come with 4 amendments, which include qualifying 6 NIPERs, that's National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, as institutes of national importance and introducing undergraduate and diploma courses. There is a Mohali NIPER, which has given National Institute qualification, and after this 6 other NIPERs were set up. Now, there was no clarification whether they are of national importance. To clarify this and to give them national importance category is one of our amendments, is what Mandavia said. Now, it seeks to amend the National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research Act 1998, which established the National Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research at Mohali in Punjab and declared it an institute of national importance. With the amendment, 6 more institutes of pharmaceutical education and research will be declared as institutes of national importance. These institutes are in Ahmedabad, Guwahati, Hajipur, Hyderabad, Kolkata and Raebareli. He earlier said the elevation of 6 more NIPERs as Institute of National Importance will lead to better research capabilities and help scale up pharmaceutical education in the country. Mandavia said the National Institutes of Pharmaceutical Education Research, NIPERS, need to be strengthened and reformed to keep pace with the changing times. The NIPERS, need to be modelled in the lines of IITs, the minister said, adding that there is a need to offer undergraduate courses through NIPERS. Participating in the debate, Neeraj Dhangi of the Congress said state governments should also get a place in the Council of the Board of Governors of NIPERS. Also, Ram Gopal Yadav of the SP sought clarity on whether the national importance status would not lead to the end of OBC and SC/ST reservation at the NIPERS. He also sought an inclusion of one member each of the OBCs and SC/STs in the board. Anil Jain of the BJP noted that the Council for NIPERs would look into various measures like the growth of pharma education and other related activities ahead. He said enhanced research in the sector would lead to self-reliance in raw materials which are currently imported. Abir Ranjan Biswas of the TMC said that the Standing Committee has made many recommendations which have not been taken into account in the bill. He said that the bill proposes to appoint 3 members of parliament to the NIPER Council. The Rajya Sabha also saw regular sitting of 0 hour and question hour, and ahead of the Uttar Pradesh Assembly polls, the BJP MP Harnath Singh Yadav raised the Sri Krishna Janambhoomi land dispute issue of Mathura, demanding a law that would provide for status quo to be scrapped. Raising the issue through a 0 hour mention, he described as unconstitutional the Places of Worship Special Provisions Act of 1991 that prohibits conversion of any place of worship and provides for the maintenance of the religious character of any place of worship as it existed on August 15, 1947. Another BJP MP, K.C. Ramamurthy, in his 0 hour mention, urged the government to analyze the best features of all religions, compile and adopt them as a uniform civil code. He said that Article 14 of the Constitution says that the state shall endeavour to provide for its citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. Ramamurthy said the objectivity of UCC is to unify fragmented personal laws for marriage, divorce, custody, adoption and inheritance, and also cover civil and human rights issues. Raising the issue of caste-based panchayats and Khap panchayats, the NCP member Fauzia Khan said they are taking law into their own hands and ostracizing people, humiliating them and calling for social boycott. Khan said that such panchayats should be abolished completely because they are going against the Constitution of India. Narendra Jadhav, nominated, made a plea for setting up of the All India Judicial Services on the lines of the Indian Administrative Service and other allied services. Raising the issue during 0 hour, he said the 14th report of the Law Commission in 1958 had proposed an All India Judicial Services, and subsequently the 42nd Constitutional Amendment conferred powers on the Rajya Sabha to initiate the process. In 1991, the Supreme Court in a landmark judgment also laid down that AIJS be set up, but it has not seen the light of day, he said. With that, we conclude Parliament News. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.